Dr. Amy here. How is everybody doing today? So, as you can see, I'm in my garage gym, coming at you a little bit earlier. However, I wanted to talk to you guys today about arm weakness. Is arm weakness normal? And this is a different type of weakness that I'm talking about. I had a patient come in last week, and she just got back from a trip and kind of slept awkwardly and just like in this like crunched position with her neck, and she was in a semi-reclined position and just super awkward. And you know, the next day she woke up with like arm weakness and the inability to raise her arm. And that kind of tells us something. So, you know, throughout the lifespan, it's quote unquote normal to have some neck pain and discomfort. But in a case like this, when the sensation or the inability to raise the arm up after a night's sleep, or you know, very inactive type of activity where you're not really lifting a lot with your arms, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, my arm feels weak, like something's off. Much different sensation than if someone comes in with like a rotator cuff tear. So how to decipher that? How to decipher between a rotator cuff tear and something that may be involved with the neck that is shooting this sensation or pain or numbness and tingling, or this altered sensation down the arm, which then creates this inability to raise the arm. So first and foremost, I would probably contact a physical therapist like myself. We are trained individuals who are able to assess something like this. And this is a subspecialty of what I specialize in, spinal pain of origin that can mimic some stuff that might be going out into the arm or the legs. However, usually the patient has the answer. So in this case, this particular patient came in to me, and she's like, yeah, you know, I slept wrong, and then I noticed like when I would try to lift my arm up in the air, it was just pretty hard for me to do that. And I'm not talking about lifting weight up in the air. I'm talking about her reaching into a cabinet for a cup, for a plastic cup. So, as we assessed her a little bit, she had some weakness into the rotator cuff musculature, as well as raising the arm out in front, and me applying a little resistance. Her arm literally fell down, and then same thing to the side. I would press to the side, and her arm fell straight down. So, determining if it's a rotator cuff involvement versus something that might be stemming from the neck that's kind of upsetting the nerves that control the shoulder complex. So, when you come in and see a physical therapist, like myself, for example, it's very important as a physical therapist to do a full assessment. So something that this patient was experiencing just didn't sound right to me. It didn't sound like a rotator cuff issue. Her mechanism of injury, per se, was her sleeping in this like awkward position, so her neck was all a little bunched up. So that just created a vulnerable environment for that patient, which then in turn kind of mimics a little bit of this weakness sensation in her inability to raise her arm or reach for a cup or reach behind. So needless to say, without proper assessment, something like this doesn't really heal in an appropriate timeline. So very important that you need to see a healthcare provider who's trained and able to assess something of musculoskeletal origin in order to understand what's going on. So in this case, after a little mini assessment from this particular patient, I was 90% sure that it was coming from the neck because she told me what was wrong. We did make a little bit of gains on our first visit, but we primarily focused on some dry needling which then can in turn help a little bit with symptoms into the arm. But I can't neglect the neck, because the neck is where the nerves stem from and they control our arm. So all these positions where this patient had difficulty reaching overhead, raising her arm out to the side, and then eventually trying to press a weight overhead. Yeah, that's rotator cuff, but in particular, the rotator cuff musculature, as well as our cap muscle here, or our deltoid, they're all controlled by the same level of nerve in the neck. And for those PTs out there, that's usually about C4, 5, 6. So I had to address the neck in order to help clean this up a little bit. So after I did some stuff to the neck, I retested the patient's strength, and the forward strength got stronger. This got a little bit stronger, and the rotator cuff pressing out against me was a little bit stronger. Clearly something's going on. So, you know, it's just not normal to have weakness into the arm, and in order to decipher if it's a rotator cuff issue or a neck issue, you need to be properly assessed by a physical therapist. We are trained experts in the muscle, bone, nerve system. So in order to heal faster and get better faster, don't wait. Don't wait to see someone. Or if you see another healthcare provider and, you know, they may tell you, well, you know, I did what I can, I think it's just gonna take a matter of time to get better, and they don't educate you and they don't send you home maybe with a piece of exercise that might help mitigate the issue, you're wrong, right? So seek out that help and be proactive about being better and honing in on your body. But a little bit of 2 cents today. We'll see how this patient presents with in the next week or two. So I did send her home with a piece of exercise that was geared towards the neck. So, you know, at the next coffee talk, maybe we'll kind of follow up and see what's up with that. But, you know, don't be afraid to reach out to any healthcare provider. You don't always have to revert going to a physician. You know, if something's a little bit kinked in the neck or the shoulder or the hip, the low back, or even the foot, a physical therapist is perfectly capable of assessing, right? You have to have that good connection with that physical therapist in order to build that trust. So we'll see what this patient presents with the next time she comes in, and hopefully we'll make some gains, and we'll kind of go from there. But in all, yeah, it's not normal to have weakness into the arm. It's normal to have neck pain. We will experience that throughout at some point in our life. But when we have neck pain that's associated with arm weakness or like numbness and tingling down the arm, that ain't right. So you need to reach out to a healthcare professional, and a physical therapist is perfectly capable of assessing this. So if you guys live in the South Charlotte area, definitely hit up Fortress Physical Therapy. If I can't help you nearby, I'm sure I might know someone from afar. But Salu, Superman, there's Clark Kent. Yeah. Salu. Hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and we'll check in the next week or two. Drop any questions, comments, send me a DM, and don't forget to subscribe to all the social media: Facebook, Twitter, of course Instagram, YouTube, and also LinkedIn. So have a good day, and remember to stay active, and don't be afraid to reach out for help.